Good morning, everybody. Mark Finan here in the home weather office on this Wednesday morning. It's now the 26th day of March 2025, and this is the morning briefing coming from the home weather office. And as I look out the window, it is a blue sky morning. However, things feel a little bit different than they did yesterday. This morning, we have more of a breeze, an onshore breeze. If this was summertime, we'd be calling it a delta breeze, but a little too early for that. Either way, today is going to be a nice day, just cooler than yesterday. Yesterday, many areas were up around record highs. Sacramento established a record high by reaching 88 degrees. The previous record had been 86 degrees, but that's the last of the 80s. As a matter of fact, over the next week or so, we may not even see some daytime highs in the 70s, and 70 is getting close to being about average for this time of year. So, a cooler change coming and a wetter change, but the biggest thing that we're still looking at are the model variations for next week. I know it's a week out, but yeah, it has the potential to be some really good rain. We'll get to that in a second. First, let's start short term because that's always the safest thing to do, starting short term. And you can really see the change this morning on the satellite. Deep marine layer, even pushed into Napa and Sonoma counties, even probably a little bit of fog or at least low overcast into areas like Fairfield this morning. And then out here, big lows spiraling around. So between the marine layer and the onshore flow and this cold front out here, during the day today, we have what we call cold air advection. So all of that will combine to make for a cooler day. But while we'll see some increase in cloud cover later on today, we won't see anything in the way of rain. So anything you have planned outdoors during the day today and all the way through the early evening hours tonight, it'll be fine. But again, it's just not going to be in the mid 80s or upper 80s like we saw in many areas yesterday. We'll at least see a 10-degree drop and probably in some areas more like a 15-degree drop between yesterday and today. But we do have this low spinning around out here. It's a nice, deep, pretty low on the satellite, but it's too far away to really have much impact on California. And what we are going to see is a diminishing cold front that will go by. And while we'll see the cooler air, we're just not going to see much in the way of precip. No, don't want to go to that one yet. It's this one I wanted to go to. We'll get to that in a minute. We'll start with the short term here with the HRRR, just to show you the precip and as it may roll in. And this is this evening. And by this evening, there could be some rain in parts of Sonoma County, maybe into Napa County and up on the coast, but it's very, very light. And for the valley, the foothills, really nothing going on. By later on tonight, we may start to see some very light rain on the west slope as well as in the Sierra. Rain in the Sierra, but very, very light. And this is during the late night. This is around 1 o'clock in the morning, really. This is Thursday morning. So somebody asked me yesterday, I often use the description for the west slope of the Sierra as soupy. And somebody asked me, good question, what do I mean by that? Well, soupy, excuse me. Okay, one and done. Soupy to me is a condition we get on the west slope when you see this upslope flow and it's foggy or low overcast, drizzly. It's not raining all the time. It's just not dry. As opposed to the valley where in a case like this, it could be in and out of clouds in Sacramento, but if you drive up Highway 50, by the time you get to Placerville and Camino and Pollock Pines, it feels and looks completely different. It's just, like I said, it's drizzly, it's wet, and while we're not getting a lot of rain, we're getting, a couple of 100ths an hour. It's just, yeah, it's soupy. That's the best word that I can come up with because, it's the visibility isn't great. The visibility is down to, a mile, whereas down the valley floor, your visibility might be 8 to 10 miles, something like that. So this is that case, and this is tomorrow morning. So for Grass Valley, Nevada City, and Colfax, and even Auburn and Placerville, and probably even Cameron Park, Jackson, all these spots along the west slope are going to be soupy while the valley stays generally dry, and also any snow in the Sierra would be way up the hill. So as we go through the day tomorrow, the valley will see occasional rain, nothing to really write home about. The totals will be very, very light. on the west slope because it will rain more frequently, I should say. The totals there could be in the tenths of an inch. This is getting into Thursday night, and this is Friday morning, and you kind of keep the party going, but it does get colder as we start squeezing out a little bit of snow. And for total precip accumulation, yeah, as you can see, for the valley where you don't have the orographics, it's very, very light. It's less than a tenth of an inch of rain. We go up here on the west slope, and there's some spots above 4,000 feet that could see more than an inch of water. Getting an inch of drizzle, that's the definition of soupy. Yeah, an inch of drizzle would definitely qualify as soupy. All right, let's go to the precipitable water, because this is the big deal that we're going to have to watch over the next week or so. And I have to congratulate so many of you. I was asking why, in a case like this, with great dynamics and great orographics, are we not getting more rain? And so many of you raised your hand in class and said, it's precipitable water. There's not any precipitable water. And it just goes back to reinforce what I've always known, that subscribers to this channel are the smartest subscribers on YouTube. So give yourselves a pat on the back. This is the precipitable water from that low on Wednesday today. And as it goes by, yeah, there's enough to give us some rain, but it's not really AR level. And then we do have one that goes to the south on Sunday. Now we're going to see some rain on Sunday, but it's also going to be on the more meager side. I'll show you that on the model in a minute. Saturday's dry. And then this is the change we see Tuesday and Wednesday. That definitely is an AR right there. Atmospheric river. And, the models keep going back and forth on, is it going to be up here? Is it going to be here? Is it going to be here? They're kind of coming into consensus that we will likely see it somewhere around the I-80 corridor, which would give our area a really good soaking of rain, perhaps Tuesday night, Wednesday, and into Thursday, with everything drying out into the day on Friday. So this really is the key right here to see how and if this pattern actually does set up. All right, so let's go to the NAM, because I want to go through that little bit of rain that we're going to see the next couple of days, the soupy pattern, but I also want to show you how things are going to dry out for the weekend. So this is Thursday night, this is Friday, a couple of inches of snow on Friday night, maybe chain controls, but then as we get into the day on Saturday, it is dry. This is Saturday at 5 p.m. Outdoor plans on Saturday, fine, not an issue. Traveling through the Sierra, anywhere through the state, it's going to be a nice day. It's just not going to be 80 degrees. We'll get more to the temperatures here in a minute. But yes, we are going to see a nice day on Saturday. So for your weekend plans, Saturday is just fine. But this is as far out as this model goes, and you can see lurking out here, there is precipitation. So let's go through some of that same time frame again with the GFS. I'll skip past this. This also shows Saturday dry. All right, so what about Sunday? This is Sunday morning, showing rain here, snow in the Sierra, a nice low out in here. That'll make it somewhat breezy. So that's Sunday. This also looks like relatively light precipitation, as the best water is going to the south, but they don't have great dynamics there. All right, so then on Monday, this is Monday morning, we're dry-ish. Monday looks like an okay day, I think. I think this may be a little bit overdone. So right now, if I was making a 7-day forecast, I think I'd leave a rain icon off of Monday. And then we get into Tuesday. This is Tuesday morning. That's Tuesday afternoon. This is the beginning of that AR. Now, this is the 6Z GFS. The 0Z, the one from 6 hours before, was also similarly wet. Actually, not even quite as wet as this model. Snow in the Sierra, probably relatively high, 5,000 feet, something like that. This is Tuesday night, and then this is Wednesday. This is the real part of it. So this is Wednesday at 5 p.m. The snow level probably around 6,000 feet. Windy, as there's a low out in here. some gusty winds. We can get into a detail like that. But it's important to note where the rain-snow line ends. You get south of Modesto, south of Merced County, let's say, in Southern California gets nothing. It's really this area from Stanislaus County to the north, and especially Sacramento County to the north, and including areas from Plumas County through Nevada County, Sierra County, all the way down into El Dorado County that get the brunt of that. And that's Wednesday afternoon, so a week from today. And that continues into Thursday morning. Some various depth of lows out in here, keeping it relatively windy, snow on the crest of the Sierra. So right now, Wednesday and Thursday next week look pretty stormy, with everything slowly drying out as we get into Friday. So how much precip are we talking about? Let me back this up a little bit. So we're going to do total precip accumulation. All right. So this is that total that we have through the day on Fridays. So this is that rain we get on Thursday, Wednesday night, Thursday. Really not that much. The one that goes by on Sunday also doesn't deliver very much. So this is Monday morning. This is the total that we've had over those couple of systems that have gone by. This model only gives Sacramento 0.14. There's better rain up on the coast. I should say up on the west slope and then end up on the coast. All right, now let's see how much we get added as we go into Wednesday. This is Tuesday morning. All right, now we're starting to add to it. By Wednesday morning, the Sacramento totals up to 0.72. Now it's at 165. Now it's at 2.25. And now it's over 3. 3.25 for Sacramento as of Thursday afternoon. Modesto at 106, and then up here in the Feather River, 13. But you can really see that north-south gradient. And, Interstate 80 kind of goes right here, and it really does look like, it's, at least from this model run, that it's, north of Interstate 80 is where you get the bulk of that AR. To the south, it tapers off. It's too early, because this is a week out, to make that exact distinction, but the models are coming into agreement that will be somewhere around I-80 and to the north, which means that areas, let's say, on the central coast, south of Monterey, let's say, would see some rain, but maybe not see the bulk of the AR like Mendocino County would, and Del Norte counties and points north. In Trinity County, as well as the Feather River. So this is what we have to pay attention to, because this is real rain. You get 3 inches of rain in 36 hours. That's pretty good rain for the valley, and obviously for the west slope, quite a bit of rain. Now we are in the time of year, because we're coming to the end of March and beginning of April. This will actually be in the first week of April, that this puts the flood managers into a much better position, because they're not so much worried about what may happen in the next 6 weeks or so, as opposed to you get something like this with high levels in the reservoirs as you're in, let's say, January. Then they have to be worried about what's ahead. We know that the dry season isn't that far off. So while we may get, and I'm speculating here based just on this model, let's say we get a foot of rain in the Feather River Basin. They'll make releases out of Oroville, but they'll be able to contain it quite well. And we'll see a nice inflow into Folsom Lake as well. All right, I want to talk a little bit about the temperature. So I'm going to backtrack a little bit and show you the deep dive here. This is the numerical output off of the NAM, and this is this morning's. And what I want to look at here is the 5,000 foot temperatures. I've showed you this graphically. Actually, is this the right one? Make sure I'm on the right one. Yes, this is the right one. Okay, so what I'm going to pay attention to are the 5,000 foot temperatures, and I've shown you this, graphically. But here's the cold air advection that I talked about today. This line right here. So this morning, as this model was initialized at 5 a.m., it said the temperature at 5,000 feet was 17.3. But by 5 o'clock this afternoon, it's going to be down to 9.1. So that's the cold air advection that we'll have during the day today. During the day tomorrow, that continues. So the temperature starts in the morning at 4.5 and drops down to 2.4. And then during the day on Friday, It starts at 1.7, drops down to 0.2, and then it stays close to 0 during the day on Saturday. So even though Saturday is a dry day, it doesn't look like it's going to be very warm. Well, we do have a high enough sun angle now that we'll get temperatures maybe into the upper 60s. But yeah, this is just an indication of that colder air moving in, and you can't expect any more days like we had yesterday. And I'll show you the GFS version of this. And actually, let me expand this a little bit more. There we go. That's what I wanted to see. And I know this is just a big field of numbers, but as I've often told you, what I show you is the things that I look at first thing in the morning. And this is kind of the same thing, but this goes all the way out to 384 hours down at the very bottom that you can't quite see. But let's say it goes out to April 10th. So let's take a look at this column right here. This column is the 850 millibar temperatures. And as you can see, this is from last night's run. So this morning, again, it said it's going to be at 17.1. And as you scroll down through the weekend and through next week, you don't see anything even at 10. So that's all the way through. In this, by the time, again, it's off the bottom of the screen and you can't quite see it, all the way out to April 10th. You have to get all the way out there before you see a temperature at 5,000 feet of 10 degrees C. And never mind anything as high as the 17 that we saw yesterday and are seeing first thing this morning. So the cooler air is coming in, and it's going to stick around for a while, maybe all the way through the middle part of April. So a couple of cool weeks coming up. And a couple other things that you can see here on this model. Here's the wind that we're expecting around the 2nd. We'll have to keep an eye on that. And then the rain totals you can see here, 53, 98, 54. So that's the heavier rain. And beyond that, there are some occasional spots of showers that the model tries to spit out. But even though it will be dry, like I said, it's just not going to warm up anytime soon as this cold air advection starts taking place during the course of the day today. So I hope all of that makes sense. And again, I'm just showing you the things that I look at every morning, and basically every meteorologist does. These are the things to look at, the tools that we use. So today, dry, just cooler and a little bit breezy for the valley with that onshore breeze. And then tomorrow and Friday, a little bit of rain, but no gully washers. But the big key for us right now throughout the meteorological community in Northern California is next week, Tuesday through, well, let's say Thursday. Where is that AR going to set up, and just how much rain are we going to see? It does look as though even if we get, I think that 6Z run is probably about as wet as we could see at this point. I think it would be manageable. It's just going to be, really, really wet. And for those of you that are especially on the west slope and your property is still, kind of muddy and wet, it's going to stay that way because A, it's going to stay rather cool, and B, we're going to add a lot more water. So for those of you that have property and you have burn piles to do and that sort of thing, you're still going to have a lot of opportunities to do that because things are not going to be drying out anytime soon if we get heavy rain in the middle part of next week. And also, for those of you that work outdoors, today's fine. And even for the valley, I think a lot of tomorrow is going to work out. It's just going to be kind of showery. And then next week, you may get in Monday and Friday next week. But right now, I would think especially Wednesday and Thursday, for those of you that depend on working outdoors, those days may not work out. But we'll keep an eye on that. That's everything I have for you on this Wednesday morning. Enjoy the sunshine. Make it a great day. I'll talk with you later.